Hey guys, I'm Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network. And tonight we have a new case that we want to talk with you guys about. Well, it's not a new case, but it's a new case for us. So we are super excited. Sarah will be joining me here in just a moment. And this is her story that she helped foster and came out with and helped us really put this together. And so I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited to talk with you guys tonight because, we spend so much time talking about the Rose that we hardly ever get to talk about anything else. And so I'm really, really excited about being able to talk with you guys about different cases because our time with Gypsy Rose is really almost coming to an end. Um, you know, um, hey, Alicia. Hey, everybody. Hey, there's Sarah. So, it's coming to an end with my coverage of what I'm going to continue to cover on this case. Because my goal has always been for the truth and the understanding of the story, of telling the truthful side of this, of helping everybody understand what actually happened to Gypsy, and all of those things. Sarah, I don't know what's going on. You may have to go back out and come back in, baby. It's not connecting you for some reason. So the first thing, so basically my time with this case is pretty much done. I'm going to write a couple more books. We've got 3 books planned. We've got a documentary planned. And then I am assuming, at some point, I'm sure at some point then we will, be asked to speak from time to time here and there based on our information, that we are, we're putting out and the information we have on the case. Basically, that's it, guys. So if you're joining the chat tonight, welcome. Hello. I cannot hear you, Sarah. I can't hear anything. Wait a minute. Maybe I need to turn my voice up. Now I've pinned this stupid thing and now it's in the way. I can't even see you. No, you're still not connecting, babe. Oh God, what did that effect do? I don't like what it did to my face. I don't know. Something just happened. I had a really pretty picture going on over here. And then I swiped across this way and I came back and now I look freaking weird. Oh God, no. Attachment to filter. Okay. Let's see. Let me invite you one more time and see if it works this time. Sorry, guys. We're having some problems over here on TikTok. We are live on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, my personal Facebook page, because I don't know what's happened with our Good Wives. Hang on. I don't know what's gone on with our Good Wives page, but it's no longer connected.
You can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. It's no longer connected to our Facebook, to our StreamYard. For the Good Wives page. I don't know why I keep connecting it. It keeps disconnecting it. Apparently StreamYard's been having some issues. So we're live tonight on Twitch, YouTube, my personal Facebook page. So if somebody would be ever so kind on the team to share that out to the Good Wives Network Facebook page, I greatly appreciate that. But tonight...
It's Good Wives Net 2.
Yeah. Oh no, that's the TikTok page. Yeah.
Yeah, that's TikTok. And
right.
we're trying to build up there so we can get off of her personal page.
So how are you guys doing? It's Hump Day. Hump Day.
Guys, it is May 1st.
1st of May. It's gonna be May.
Today is May Day for people who don't know. But, thank you, Alicia.
Thank you, Alicia, sweetheart. Thank you so much.
I appreciate the gifts, guys. Thank you. So, May Day, not only is that like the flag, May Flagpole Day, it's also my my grandmother's birthday,
Oh.
and we lost her a few years ago, several years ago, 2012. But she would have been 104 today, and she was incredible. This woman accomplished so much. She graduated high school when she was 12. She graduated college when she was 16. She was a teacher. She was in the Navy. She was just so accomplished, and just all around amazing woman. And so today my mom messaged me and was like, today would have been her birthday. And I'm like, I know, Mom. I know. I'm sorry.
How old would she have been today?
104.
Oh, my.
She was born in 1920. So.
Yeah, Toasty Ghosty, I want the weekend, too.
Yeah, I tell you what, this day, this has been a crazy day already.
It has been. 1st of May did not disappoint. So anyway, if you are just joining us, please tap, share, like, do all the things to keep us safe and get this out in the algorithm. I'm starting to build back here on TikTok, so the more that we can share us out, the more people that were able to find me before can find me again. I know I've been shadow banned, so it's just been a hard time getting myself out there again.
Now, I had to come in and out like 4 times, and finally on the 4th time you heard me, and the other times you didn't. But so I missed part of what you were saying.
I wasn't saying anything. I was just basically introducing what we were going to talk about.
You said there was a problem with a platform that's not.
Yeah, Facebook is not connecting. Our Good Wives page on Facebook is not connecting to StreamYard. So if you're one of our mods and you can share it to the Good Wives Network page on Facebook, please share it from. It's broadcasting live to my personal page, the Francesca Maselli page. But if you could share it over to the Good Wives page or in our groups or any of those things, I would greatly appreciate it, Mod Squad. All right. Julie, Size of the World. Yes, I know my book is not on Amazon. When we pushed the date back for it because of some different issues with editing and being sick and everything, it took it out of the pre-order for the ebook because it didn't push back the date on it for some reason. And so when I failed to upload my finalized edit of the book, it kicked it all off of there. So I'm trying to fix that today. I was just writing my Daybell stuff, and so I had not gotten a chance to get over there and fix that. But you can now go to our website, thegoodwivesnetwork.com, and pre-order the pre-order the paperback book, and you can get it with a signature, with 2 signatures, or without a signature on there. So you guys can already go pre-order it there. And then I will have the ebook back up probably within the next couple of days on Amazon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have a quick question to follow up with that on the book. You've been so busy. I've been so busy today and all this stuff. I haven't had a chance to check back with you, but
thank you, Alicia.
I did receive a message that someone had placed an order for the book and went through the whole process, but then when it came time for them to enter their address, it wasn't available.
Right, yeah, because it's not available because of the mix-up with the editing and the ebook. Okay. But their card was never charged or anything because I still have mine.
No, they said they weren't able to proceed with the order because it didn't give them the option to enter an address.
Right. And that's why, because it's down for pre-order right now and it's all down. Are they talking about they ordered it on my website or are they ordering it on Amazon? Because on my website, I may have forgotten to put in the ability.
The message was on your the Good Wives Facebook page. So.
Okay, I'll check it out. And if I have forgotten to put in the ability for you guys to put your address and everything, it should automatically do it once because it has to be shipped out. So it definitely should ask you for that. I know that it's asked, our other our other viewers that have ordered other products from us for it. But if it's not, I will make sure that I fix it and I'll check into it. Don't worry. Okay, guys.
Great.
So,
Great. So I love the yellow and navy blue. That's such a cute color combo.
yeah, my little earrings tonight are Edmund Kemper, the co-ed killer.
That. Oh my gosh! Has anybody seen that docudrama that's on Apple about him?
No, I've seen the old one. I've seen the one on Netflix that they included him inside of Mindhunter, but I've not seen one. He's one of my favorite serial unalivers. Because his story is super interesting. Like, he turned himself in because he knew something was wrong with him, you know. And he walks into a police station and basically has, I think he had like a breast from one of the women in his pocket when he did so, to like show them, I need help. I'm doing this and I need you to stop me. To my understanding, oh, my mom's calling. No, Mama, not right now.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
I lost your volume.
Yeah, it's okay. My mom called in on Messenger for a second. So, yeah. Can you hear me now? You should be able to hear me. So tonight, though, we're not talking about Gypsy Rose. We're not talking about Edmund Kemper. We are talking about a real life Gone Girl story that Netflix has come out with a documentary on, that Sarah turned me on to, and it's fascinating. So did you want to go ahead and kind of talk a little bit about it? I do have the premiere for that available. If you want me to play it, I can do so.
Sure. I'll just say something really quickly. Okay, guys, I know, don't yell at me. I'm not obsessed with Gone Girl. Okay, I have not read the book. Yes, I love the movie, but
I read the book.
Not everything in my life revolves around Gone Girl. So I'm just gonna get that out there, because we already made a definite analogy with kind of, this is a parallel, guys. So if you before and you heard, before we discussed that we thought Gypsy might have been setting things up for a real life Gone Girl by staging her own death and disappearance, just like this woman did Amy Dunn did in the book and the movie. However, in this situation, what we're talking about is the abduction, and assault of a woman, and then the police and the detectives and the FBI and every authority involved took it upon themselves to disbelieve this woman, because they called her the Gone Girl case and accused her of copycatting this book and novel that had come out the year before, when she was truly a victim. And she was victimized not only by the perpetrator, but then she was a victim of the authorities and the media as well. And so still to this day, this is known as the Gone Girl case, the real life Gone Girl case. So we can show that promo and get everybody caught up. It's on Netflix. There's only 3 episodes, and trust me, guys, it goes by so fast.
Okay, I'm gonna try to play it on here. I did download it. Hold on, that's not a video. I need the video one. I don't see the video one. Why is this always so hard? Well, okay, I can't play it on here, but I can put up the picture. That's who we're talking about.
Okay, so
but I'm gonna play it over here for them. Over
promo.
Here. I can't play it on here, but I can play it on my StreamYard over here. So it will be played on over here, but it's not going to be played.
So it'll be on YouTube then?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so that is Aaron Quinn and Denise Huskins. That is the Vallejo, California couple that was accused of staging her abduction.
Okay, I'm just going to actually put up. It's not working tonight, Sarah. I'm having a hard time here. I've got the StreamYard. I can pick the picture up, but I cannot, for some reason, I cannot find I can't get it to play the stupid, the trailer. So that's okay. But this is who we're talking about today. This is Denise Huskins and her boyfriend, Aaron.
Aaron Quinn and Denise Huskins. Now this is kind of a which photo?
I'm just going to take the photos off because it's just not working. I don't know.
I do want to. Is there a way we can show Matt later on? Matt, the
well, it's going to come up like really big behind me, and you can't even see what it is. That's
okay.
Yeah, so it's
to
weird.
me, it's a very, very interesting photo collage.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, we'll get into that. So this couple, they were both in their late 20s. They were 28 and 29, and they had been dating for a few months. They were both physical therapists and worked together. And on March 23rd, 2015, Aaron made a 911 call at 1:53 p.m. stating that his girlfriend had been kidnapped. Mm-hmm. What happened was in this. Let me just give you guys a little background here, a little summary. So, American Nightmare is the name of Netflix's new true crime series. Like I said, only 3 episodes, goes by very quickly. It was premiered this past year on January 17th.
Yep.
Yeah, 2024. So it tells the story of Denise Huskins, who was kidnapped and later accused of staging her own abduction. Law enforcement cast doubt on Huskins' story. They suggested that her boyfriend had been involved. And there was a lot of comparisons to the movie Gone Girl, which come out. When an actual true kidnapper was finally apprehended, and later on, Huskins and her boyfriend received a settlement, and they never actually received an apology from the police chief and the captains that were in charge at the time. They did not receive a apology until 2021, when a new police chief was came into his position. So they really got done dirty all the way around. So now that's kind of what we covered there.
No.
So they're asleep, right? This is March 23rd, 2015. She's 29 years old. She and Aaron live together in Vallejo, California, and they're sound asleep in the middle of the night, or it was around 3 a.m. They wake up to lights blinding them, and they have said repeatedly, never changing their story, that there were multiple men in their home. They were both bound and blindfolded, but it was weird the way that they were blindfolded and what was done to them, because they used zip ties were used on them. Actually, the person instructed them, the man instructed them, Denise, to put the hand ties on Aaron's wrists, and then they took swimming goggles and had blacked out swimming goggles that they put on their heads, taped to their faces. The men were wearing wetsuits, diving wetsuits, which was very odd. Besides the lights blinding them in their face, there was also red lights, like laser pointed lights on their chest, and Aaron was hit with a taser, like not a gun, with the barbs, but just a regular stun gun, I guess is what you would call it. So they're ordered to so they're bound, right? They're bound and
they're blindfolded.
Blindfolded on them. And then they take a pre-recorded audio and put headphones on them and like play this CD or tape like crazy, like from a Walkman. Giving them instructions and telling them what to do. It was just some weird, bizarre stuff.
So the kidnappers take her and put her in the trunk of his car and take his car.
That's one thing, because one of the things that she noted is also that
American Nightmare.
They also sedated them.
Right.
So, and then he told him, that he was going to abduct her, wait for his calls, wait for his emails, don't contact police. He's going to ask for a ransom, wanted, like $17,000 in 2 different increments. And that as long as you followed him or whatever and didn't contact the authorities, that, she would be okay and they'd be reaching out. And then all of a sudden, he's knocked out. Like, this sedative knocks him out. And meanwhile, she's being carried out to the car. And she says that she's trying to listen to every single noise she can, so that, because she can't see anything, but she doesn't have the headphones on. And it was not her boyfriend's car. It was a Mustang, but she had the wherewithal and the knowledge to know what a Mustang engine sounded like.
Okay, because in the article you sent me, it says it was the boyfriend's trunk of his car.
Okay, there may have been a mistake between the two, because
I'm just trying to make sure, because that seems odd. Yes. To come and they're going to do this and they're going to put her in the boyfriend's car and take her away in the boyfriend's car. That seems weird.
Well, yeah, and that really, wouldn't make a lot of sense, because what would the abductor have been driving?
And that could be why.
Right, and they do claim that there was more than one, even though there was never more than one apprehended.
Right.
So the thing that stood out the most to me was that the abductor apologized and told her and him that this was never intended for her, that it was intended for Aaron's ex.
Oh my God, now I know what case this is. I remember that now.
Yes.
Oh, it's a mistaken identity thing. I forgot. Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so the thing is he had been engaged with a woman named Andrea Roberts, and she is also a physical therapist, and she actually worked at the same hospital with both of them. And there was a little bit of a rivalry going on, because he was still in contact with her, and they'd actually talked about, he and Denise were kind of coming to a crossroads in their relationship, if they wanted to, if he wanted to go back to Andrea, or if he wanted to work things out and stay with Denise. But because Andrea, according to Aaron Quinn, had cheated on him, and that was the reason why they split. They broke up in September of 2014, and she had resided in Aaron's home with him. And so then this attack occurs on March 23rd, 2015.
So wait a minute. Do they indicate why they wanted to take that girlfriend but not the new girlfriend? Was there a problem with? Was there like something between Aaron and these kidnappers? What?
No, they just said, we're sorry. This was supposed to be Andrea. This wasn't supposed to be you.
That doesn't make any sense though. How would they know about her?
They obviously had been watching Aaron for a long time, and to the point where, I mean, they were watching him when he was in his relationship with Andrea, and Andrea was living in the home. But somehow the stalker missed the breakup, and Denise and Andrea both have long blonde hair, and they both work at the same location. So if you see the same boyfriend working at the same location, living in the same home, you could see how there might have been a little bit of a mix-up there.
But you're losing me here. I don't understand where this kidnapper came from, and if they were they stalking him? Were they stalking her? I don't understand. You're confusing the hell out of me. Did they not ever come up with why this person did this?
No.
That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. This does not make any sense to me then.
That I agree with you 100%. And now this is something that I have always thought, did Andrea have something to do with this?
That would make sense. Would make sense.
Right. And that's where my mind leads, because it's not explained. It's not explained why there was a switch up. It's not explained why there was a mix up in girlfriends. It doesn't explain how he would know Andrea's name.
How long had Denise and Aaron been together at this point?
Well, he broke up with Andrea in September, and he and Denise began dating right away.
But when did she move in?
She moved in relatively soon.
Then this happens. So they break up in September of the prior year,
2014.
Okay, she moves in.
Right. So then she moves in almost immediately, and then the abduction occurs on March 23rd, 2015. Now, to make this even more complicated is the fact that Andrea dated the lead FBI agent, David Sesma.
Oh, okay. You're giving me all the pieces now. I'm sorry. Nah, I don't believe any of that shit, Andrea. What do you got hiding, honey? No.
There's something.
No.
I'm telling
that
you,
dog don't hunt.
My gut goes straight for Andrea here, and I mean, this is all, in my opinion, allegedly for
right. In our opinion, allegedly for entertainment and educational purposes only. But I'm telling you, that dog don't hunt. This was not a random thing. This is not somebody just grabbing a person, a mistaken identity of girlfriends. If you were stalking a person and you were watching them that fucking long, you wouldn't have missed a breakup and a whole new fucking girlfriend. That ain't happening, sis. Right. That ain't happening. I'm sorry. So no, I don't buy that. My mind would go to Andrea too, and I'd love to be able. Does this go to court? Does this person get convicted? Because I'd love to pull it for you.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes. So Denise and Aaron asked repeatedly for the FBI agent David Sesma to be taken off their case for conflict of interest,
right?
Because of his romantic relationship with Andrea.
100%. So
and how did it take him off the case?
So before we get into that, let's go back to, so she gets taken in March. How many days is she kept? How many days did she stay?
So she was kept for, let's see, a total here of
and those who are just turning in, we are talking about the real life Gone Girl story of Denise Huskins and Aaron Quinn.
Right, and so he's kept for 4 days.
4 days. So she's kept for 4 days. And Aaron immediately decides to go to the police, even though the kidnappers tell him not to. He feels that he needs to, because he wants to find his girlfriend, and he hopes that he can jump on this, because if you wait, you know just as well as I do, the best chance of finding her is within the first 48.
Yeah. what he does is when he wakes up, I mean, immediately the police believe nothing he says because, like I said, she was taken in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But he was knocked out. He was given sedatives. He was given, what the perpetrator was making a cocktail of NyQuil, Ambien, and like Xanax and some of them.
So now, like the street drugs, right? To create a street sedative that, oh my God, how dangerous is that?
So
holy cow.
So he made this cocktail and they both drank it and, knocked them both out. And so then
I'm sorry, you know what? There's a couple things I got a problem with here. If somebody broke into my home and then tried to force me to do these things, there's no way. I'd go down swinging. There's no way. I'm not putting handcuffs on myself. I'm not taking your freaking Kool-Aid drink. And you know what? I sure as shit ain't letting you take me to a second fucking location. If I'm gonna die tonight, I'm gonna die on my knees in my home. I ain't letting you take me nowhere else. But I'm gonna fight you mofos the whole damn way. Because that's just the way. If you think cooperating with a kidnapper, a murderer, whatever is going to somehow keep you alive, no, friends, it is not. That is not their goal.
No.
That is not their goal. They came there with an intent, and you should fight tooth nail all the way. Do not comply. Do not comply. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Well, even the 911 dispatcher was he calls and Aaron, he's trying to be as calm as can be because he's trying. He already knows he's contacting authorities, which is he's already been told not to do that.
Yeah.
But he knows that that's what he needs to do anyway.
Right.
And he'd been threatened. He'd been told that they had cameras up in and around the house.
Right.
And the kidnappers would be monitoring him. And
sure.
They would
that's the standard operating procedures of kidnappers. Yeah. Your check.
So he decides he's just going to go ahead. He thinks the best way of finding her is, finding her would be to go ahead and go to the police. So when he comes to at 1:53 p.m. in the
can everyone leave me alone?
He says, tells them the whole story, and they're like, well, why didn't you call the police last night? And he's like, I was knocked out. And so they bring him in for questioning, and I would say probably one of the second villain in this is Detective Matt Mustard.
Okay.
What he put Aaron through was absolute hell.
Yeah.
First of all, let me tell you that they held him for over 18 hours in interrogations.
Right.
They had him beside himself, almost to the point.
Yeah, 18 hours.
They had him ready to sign a false confession. They hooked him up to a lie detector test and then lied to him and told him that he had failed it miserably. They accused him of murdering her. They just absolutely destroyed this young man. And do you know one of the things that I that was pointed out by an FBI analyst was one of the big things that they did not do was they didn't give him a toxicology screening. When he came in and said I was drugged, they didn't take him to the hospital.
I'd like to say that I'm surprised by that, but I'm not, because my friend Amanda told the police officers that on several occasions, and not a single one of them ever gave any shit that her husband was doing that. So, and then they tried to say that she drugged herself, and then she didn't have enough drugs in her system the second time that he tried to do it. So it wasn't an attempt. Like it's just so sad. And, I'm totally a back the blue. I am a support our officers that are good, do all of these things. But if you're a bad apple, you're a fucking bad apple. And you need to get out, because you're only making the system worse than it already is.
What they did is so unethical And the other thing they did is he told them that the kidnappers would be contacting him on his phone, and they took his phone. That was another thing that the FBI analyst, she was saying that they should not have done is, first of all, she said, you want that phone, right? You want to keep that phone. You want to have that phone active. You want to have the phone lines open to see if anything's coming through or going out, good or bad. It's going to definitely be, it's going to have a huge impact on the case. They took his phone and put it on airplane mode. The kidnapper.
Wait, the detective put it on airplane mode?
The detective, Matt Mustard, put it on airplane mode.
For what fucking reason?
Never gave a reason. But the kidnapper, he called him and he emailed him. And he missed the calls and the emails. So if she was actually raped twice. And the second time would have been completely avoidable if he had not put that phone on airplane mode.
Mommy, what does that like?
That's insanity. I've never, ever heard of a cop doing that. Never.
Yes.
In any case whatsoever, ever.
What else do you want?
Have you? Has anyone else?
Or do you want oranges? Oranges or bananas?
I love to see people's comments here on TikTok. I love interacting. Like, what do you guys think about that? I mean, that seems to be the worst thing they could have possibly done.
You have oranges and bananas too.
I mean, here's this person, and he's giving you an accounting of the story, and without doing any detective work at all, nothing. You're doing absolutely no things. You're not searching. You're not doing anything. You've just already decided that I'm your main suspect, and not only that, but you're going to impede any freaking chance that I might have in hell of the kidnapper contacting me so that you could verify my freaking story. What in the hell, man? No. Just no.
So they virtually, I mean, they don't give him a blood or toxicology test. They put his phone on airplane mode. They keep him in this lengthy interrogation for over 18 hours. It was excruciating for him. They give him a polygraph test. They lie about the results. Finally, after 18 hours, his brother hires an attorney and is able to get him out of there. But unfortunately, since they had put that phone on kidnap mode, the kidnapper had tried to contact him twice by phone and email with the ransom, but they missed the demands. And so now, 2 days later, Denise Huskins is found wandering around her hometown outside of her father's home in Huntington Beach, California, which is 400 miles away from the location of where the kidnapping occurred in Vallejo.
Okay, now that's really weird because how did he know where she lived? Did the kidnapper ask her where to take her to freaking drop her off? Nothing about this is making any sense, Sarah. Not their story, not the police's story so far.
It's very, very odd, okay? But here's the thing. This kidnapper, for whatever reason, has this nobility complex. There were other women that he had kidnapped, and they had asked him not to rape them because they had previous essays, and so he didn't. So basically...
So we've got a kidnapper essayer with a conscience?
Yes, ma'am.
What the fuck?
Ma'am. Yes.
No. I'm sorry,
and
no.
His name, it ends up that only one man is arrested and charged in connection with all of this, and his name is Matt Mueller. Now, he was a very highly, I would say, decorated, but he had a lot of achievements and awards in the Marine Corps. He was a Harvard Law School graduate.
This is sus as fuck, Sarah.
You're yelling at me for this, telling you the story.
Because it's sus as fuck. Nothing you're saying is making any sense to me. I've watched and I've read, guys, and that's the thing. Like watching the documentary, the American Nightmare documentary, I couldn't get into it because I have way more questions than they're even going to try to answer. I am completely blown away. And right now I'm sitting here going, I'm sorry, I don't believe a word of any of this. Now I have to look at all of it because none of this is making any sense. And we're talking about Denise Huskins and Aaron Quinn from Vallejo, California.
Yes.
I'm sorry, none of this is making sense yet. I'm sorry.
So I'm reporting to you.
I know you are, but I'm telling you my opinion so far. This is sus as fuck, and nothing makes sense. Keep going.
This is why this case fascinates me. It's fascinating because it is so bizarre.
Are we sure that they got the right kidnapper?
Yes.
How do we know that?
From DNA evidence. DNA evidence that was left at the scene. She was given a SA grape kit test.
Yeah, right. Got you.
That matched up. So
okay.
The DNA does match up. But to make it even more interesting, it'll probably have you screaming again. When they tried to paint her as being the Gone Girls, the real life Gone Girl, and how she made the whole thing up, Mueller actually sends some well-written email into a newspaper claiming that they need to stop calling her the real life Gone Girl because it really happened to her and he's the one that did it.
Oh, so he pulled a Kemper.
He wanted credit for it.
Oh, yeah, they do. I mean, that is one of the things when you have a serial unaliver, a serial SA'er. I mean, credit is, they want the credit. They're not like a normal, these people are not like normal unalivers who get in a situation with, like their husband or their wife, and they unalive them either in a moment of passion or even like Chris Watts who planned it out. These people are not the same. Their thought processes are not the same. And watching someone else either get credit for or have their story be messed up is very upsetting to them. And this reminds me a lot of the Cipher one. What's it? The Zodiac, where he was writing in telling them, "You've got this wrong. That wasn't that person. It's me."
Well, yeah, exactly. And he had told Denise during they talked during the time. I mean, he was drugging her, but they did have conversations. She was trying to get information out of him and try to keep things going. And he told her that he was part of a large, criminal group, and there were 3 other members, and the other men that were involved were never revealed to her. Still to this day, she and Aaron both claim there was more than one man in the apartment. Zodiac
was writing the papers too, Fish Radio. That's not wrong. BTK did it as well, but Zodiac did as well. No. BTK is not the only one that ever wrote and wrote the papers and the investigators. He's not.
So sadly, with this story, Mueller video recorded when he raped her, the 2 times that happened. He said that he needed to have that as blackmail evidence, and so the first time that it happened, she said was bad enough because she had a history of childhood and teenage SA. And so this was very traumatic for her. And
okay.
so he recorded it and then came back to her the next day and said, well, we're going to have to do it again because that last time it didn't look as believable. So that second time, if the police had not put Aaron's phone on airplane mode, that second time would have been prevented.
Are you looking at my face right now?
Yes.
None of this makes any sense. I'm sorry. This makes less sense than Gypsy's story. This doesn't make any sense.
No.
So he's a serial SA who randomly stalks a dude, wants to take his his other girlfriend, but misses that they break up, and now takes this girlfriend and then lets her go because he's got some sort of nobility complex and conscience, and then he No, none of this makes any sense. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm simply telling you that's sus as fuck.
Well, they linked him to several other assaults through DNA evidence, and like I told you, he has this like nobility. There were other women that he robbed, and let them go without there being an SA, just because they asked him not to. And one said it was her greatest fear, and the other said that she'd had it done
Denise
before,
Huskins.
so he didn't do that. And then there was also in this area, around this area, this 40-mile radius here in California, there was this incident about this peeping Tom. There was a peeping Tom case that was ongoing, and people were very concerned. Turned out that was him too. So now you want to tell me how someone who has been highly trained in the Marine Corps and is a Harvard Law School graduate attorney is doing something like this? Like you said, none of it makes sense.
I'm going to have to FOIA the shit out of this. I cannot.
This is crazy. This is one of those things where life is crazier than fiction, and then nobody wants to believe her or Aaron. So then they dub her the Gone Girl, and then she just ends up getting completely victimized by the authorities all over again, to the point that they were threatening to press charges against her and her boyfriend. And the police detective comes on and gives a speech telling everyone that they're liars and that they've wasted all of the police's energy and taxpayer dollars, searching for this man that didn't exist, when in all reality it did exist. And if it wasn't for the work of a new detective that came on the scene, this would have never been solved. So their theory of the hoax started to fall apart when there was the series of emails sent to the San Francisco Chronicles. And the emails were supposedly sent by one of the kidnappers, stating they wanted the entire story of the abduction to be known, that it was real, and they wanted to clear Huskins' name. Again, we have this perpetrator with this nobility complex. He wants to clear her name. So they actually sent some proof of life recordings after she'd been found. And then there were specific details given about the kidnapping, and also some other home thefts and burglaries that had happened in the same neighborhood where the couple lived. And in a crazy turn of events, the sender of the emails sent another message after their press conference that demanded that the Vallejo police apologize to Huskins and Quinn.
Okay.
Okay, so in June of 2015, police detective Misty Caruso, she's brand new to the force, and she is investigating a kidnapping that took place 40 miles away in Dublin, California. It's 40 miles south of Vallejo. So during this time period, they're being absolutely ridiculed. They are being threatened. They've had to hire attorneys. The police are talking to them about putting them in prison for filing false police reports. And, they're doing them so dirty.
Wow.
Dirty. And so.
With no proof of anything.
No. And they've got DNA, they have DNA proof. They even said on her grape kit, when it came back, the detectives were like, well, she wasn't injured that badly. Like the legions.
You said what?
The police said, well, the cervical lesions that were identified in the grape kit, well, that could have just been from something kinky or rough. That doesn't necessarily, wasn't quite bad enough for grape. I mean,
I hate these people who do that shit. That is horrible. And but that's not uncommon. See, that's the thing. Not believing women about SA, especially, is a well-known problem. And women are forced to relive their trauma over and over throughout the process. First, they live the trauma. Then if they report the trauma, they are re-traumatized because they have to provide, they have to be swabbed and they have to do a grape kit and they have to tell everybody everything. And then the system itself grapes them again on the stand where their dress is called into question. What were you wearing? What were you doing? Were you drinking? Who fucking cares? None of that said, hey, my hoo-ha is open for service today, sir. No, none of it was that. And that should be the end. The question should be, did you want it? No. Did he do it? Yes. Case closed. Let's go find all the evidence we need to make this case stick. Now, I'm not saying that there's not women out there that make false claims. There are. But you know how many women make false claims as opposed to how many women are actually SA'd? Very, 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 very minor amount.
And it's very common. Most SA victims usually don't even make reports.
No, they don't.
It's very difficult.
Because why? Because they are graped and ruined by the system after coming forward. It's horrible. It's a terrible process. And it's nothing in it is set up to help the victim, protect the victim, do anything for the victim. It's not like SVU. Olivia Benson doesn't show up to your fucking rescue with Rollins and, Ice-T and freaking tow. Okay, that ain't happening. No, it's a very scary, very bad process.
By the time Denise Huskins was returned in her neighborhood, her father's neighborhood, 400 miles away, by the time she even got help, it was already plastered all over the media, calling her the Gone Girl hoax before she'd ever even been found because they didn't believe her boyfriend. So now,
okay, but how is that a Gone Girl hoax if they don't believe him? Because they're accusing him of killing her, unaliving her in a domestic dispute, and then you're going to call her the Gone Girl? How? Wait, what?
Yeah, they were hitting them from every angle.
Wow, wow.
They even attacked her and called her the real life Gone Girl just because she had long blonde hair, and so does Rosamund Pike in the movie.
Oh my Lord.
So if it wasn't for the hard work of this new detective, Misty Caruso, coming on here and saying, she's fresh, she's new, she's
Hungry.
following this. There's
Right.
all of these stories coming out in this general area of
Yeah.
this peeping Tom and these home invasions and these burglaries and stuff. So now you want to hear something. You're saying, this case is crazier than fiction. So what ends up happening is, like I said, months later, Detective Misty Caruso, in June 2015, is investigating attempting kidnappings that occurred 40 miles south of where Huskins was abducted. And the situation was strikingly similar because of the evidence they found, such as, it's where I really wish you could play the promo. They found a blow-up doll that was dressed up as a man. They found the goggles. They found these guns, but they were fake guns that he had painted. Pew-pews that he had painted and taped lasers onto and lights onto. And so what ended up being the final, situation was that there was another attempted kidnapping with the same similar situation that happened to Huskins, but this couple was able to fight off the would-be kidnapper. Now, in this, little scuffle that they have, the intruder dropped their cell phone as they made their escape.
Well, he is brilliant, isn't he?
And that was the key to revealing his identity. They called the number on the phone marked mom and was like,
no shit, they called mom?
They called mom and they said, who is this? And she said who she was. And do you have a son? Yes, Matthew Mueller. And they're like,
oh my God.
My God. And so they start going through all of these different things. They found in the South Lake Tahoe area, they found evidence that linked him to Huskins' kidnapping. And that included a computer that was stolen from Quinn's home. And also that there was a pair of duct tape swimming goggles, just like the one that Quinn had described that he was forced to wear in the invasion.
It is a crazy story. You're right.
There was one long blonde strand of hair that was found on the tape. That one hair, it was if Detective Misty Caruso had not gone after this like she did and wanted to hunt down who that long blonde hair belonged to, because she felt, like, this is another victim. Is this person dead or alive? I have to know whose hair this is.
Yeah.
And so she starts investigating all the people that they knew of, and none of them were long blonde. And so, she sent in a request to present all this evidence to Vallejo police in order to clear Huskins' name. And, thanks to her work, it ended up that they did the DNA testing, and it was her hair. It ended up truly being Denise's hair on the tape.
That's crazy.
Piece of hair. So it ended up that Mueller was sentenced to 40 years in federal prison after he pleaded guilty for kidnapping for ransom in March of 2017. Then he received a second sentence of 31 years in state prison in March of 2022 after pleading guilty to the SA of Huskins, as well as robbery, burglary, and the false imprisonment of her boyfriend, Quinn.
Wow.
So,
like I said, I'm still going to FOIA this shit because I've got lots of questions.
Yeah. And again, they tried to go back and see if Andrea had anything to do with it, and they did, have a lot of questions about why, just how that all fell into place.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing.
The
That doesn't
identity of the wrong girl, and why was the lead FBI agent David Sessman not removed from the case after it was found that he had been dating Andrea?
Yeah, that's sus as fuck all over it. But I mean, interesting.
They got, they ended up getting a settlement they settled out of court for $2.5 million.
And there's no connection. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I've got to do this stupid verification because of inactivity on our live. That's dumb. So let me ask you. So there is absolutely no connection found between any of these people and this kidnapper.
No. And it's very odd because they've not been able to come forward with any type of a connection between them. I mean, the connection we have with Andrea and Denise and Aaron was that they all worked together at the same hospital.
Okay.
In the same department. There were 3 physical therapists, and Andrea had been with Aaron prior to Denise.
I'm just wondering if they came into contact with him at the hospital somehow.
This guy was a creeper. He was constantly breaking into people's homes.
I get that, but he had too much information about them personally and the relationship and all of that, unless Denise and him, when they were talking like that, she said Andrea's name or something, and then he just kind of latched onto it. I don't know, but there's too many questions from the beginning of their relationship and him taking her and everything for me to just be like, yeah, all right, I understand what you're saying. No, I'm sorry. No, I don't.
Right. So it wasn't until, like I said, March of 2018 that the couple got the $2.5 million in damages for defamation from the that came from the lawsuit with the city, and then of course it was 6 years later before a new police chief came in and finally issued a public apology to them, and the way the case was handled, there was no sensitivity. It was presented to the public as a spectacle, comparing it to a movie. And the detective, if you watch the interrogations, Matt Mustard, it is just disgusting. He is a disgusting, vile piece of garbage that has no business ever being a police officer, and he got promoted.
Say what?
To sergeant. Yeah. He got promoted to sergeant after this. And he also serves as the head of the Vallejo Police Officers Association. Even though he's had many other controversies involving him trying to include pressure on a forensic pathologist to change the cause of death in a woman's death. And he's also been accused of racial comments.
Oh, so another Mark Foreman. Right.
He's scum. He's just awful.
Lovely.
And so eventually what happened was, after what they had been through together, the odds of them staying together
is slim to none. Right, slim to none.
Right? But they beat the odds.
Did they really? Are they still together?
They stayed together. They got married. They have 2 beautiful baby girls.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And they have, a beautiful life together. And now Aaron works for a company that helps train high school athletes to become professional athletes.
That's great.
And so, they were able to find a way to heal and come out of this, strong and united. But they were victims. And what I think everybody needs to realize, this is the most important thing that I can say, is they were victims that were turned into suspects, and they were treated as suspects.
That's
never
terrible.
As victims.
That is terrible. All of this is terrible. And I definitely want to look into that officer more. Trust me. Now you piqued my interest.
Yeah.
Piqued my interest. I deep dive on you. You don't like that.
Yeah, it's a story that, and I want to know, where did Matt Mueller go so wrong in life?
That's always the most important. That's honestly the most intriguing part of true crime for me. It's never about the actual murder itself. Like, those happen every day, right? Like, that's not the interesting thing. The interesting thing for me is the path and the trajectory that everyone was on, victim and perpetrator, that landed them in this situation of, how does this end up happening? That's the thing that's interesting to me.
This guy, was decorated in the Marine Corps. This guy was a right? He an attorney. He was disbarred, I don't have all the details of exactly why he was disbarred. I think it basically had to do with it was more or less like he just wasn't practicing because he was too busy off being a peeping Tom and a burglar.
I wonder what the inciting incident for him is. There's got to be an inciting incident. There's got to be a trigger that happened in his life at that moment that changed the path that he was on. There has to be something that happens there. Is there anything in his background that would indicate that that he was going to do this? Is there abuse?
No,
is there
no.
anything? Nothing?
No. They've not released anything that would lead to that. I looked into it to see if I can find anything. And also for the fact that, he is this, he's a rapist and an SA, person and a robber and a stalker and a pervert and a peeping Tom, but he has a conscience. Like, he takes her back, 400 miles away to her father's neighborhood. He doesn't grape two women because they asked him not to.
None of this makes sense. That's why I'm telling you this doesn't make sense. Now I'm definitely intrigued because it just doesn't. None of this is adding up. Something is not right here, and maybe it's him. I don't know, but I'd sure like to know more about him, to be honest with you, and the detective at this point.
And
hey, CJ.
He was a good-looking guy too. He's a good-looking guy. He's accomplished. Obviously, he's very smart. But then, of course, we run into the ideas of grandiose. Hey, Miss Hinjasa, tell us what to call you, please. I always ask you that. Hinohasa, Hinojasa.
Isa? Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. We're talking about, so tonight we've been talking about Denise Huskins and Aaron Quinn, got his name.
Quinn.
The real life Gone Girl story. They were accused of creating a Gone Girl situation after Denise was randomly kidnapped by this crazy person. And they did a documentary on Netflix called American Nightmare. It's 3 episodes. That's what we're talking about tonight. So we're kind of wrapping it up here, but
not only is the story fascinating, but this is what I will really, really, really want everyone to realize. It's that it could happen to any of us.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet.
Oh, it's so sweet. It could happen to any of us.
Yeah.
Here in the United States, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, we see how faulty our legal system is.
Yes.
And to be taken from being a victim, a true victim, to being a perpetrator, just because of the way that mass media works these days, and the way that that our law enforcement can be so deficient.
Yeah.
You know, I've been there. I have been the victim of DV, and the tables were turned, and political wheels were greased, and people were paid off, and you know, I ended up being the victim and then the perpetrator when I was 100% innocent, and I was just the victim.
Right.
And so I can see this happening. You know, people will say, "Oh, that could never happen to me."
No, it could.
Wrong.
No, it could. It definitely could.
Wrong. Innocent people get arrested every day. And innocent people go to prison every day.
They do. They do. So if you guys would like Box to discuss this case, the Denise Huskins, Aaron Quinn case, or anything else that you'd like, please go ahead and what the heck? Oh my God, my husband's messaging me. Hold on.
Dang. Mrs. Heno is killing it.
Thank you.
I want to set a goal. I want to set a goal for a lion. I want to hear that big roar.
Okay, I got to figure out what I want to eat because Craig's at Kroger and I'm trying to figure it out, and he's about to leave if I don't tell him what I want. I'm trying to think of something I want, but I can't really think of anything from Kroger I want.
Would you feel like cooking something tonight?
No.
Alicia's got the chili. Oh my gosh, you got more chilies.
Yeah, I put the goal as chilies, since I'm spicy red. I thought that was kind of cute.
Yeah, that is cute. I'm going to have to come up with something like a hat or something, or pink. Well, pink puppy hearts are cute. I know one of these days I will get a universe. One of these days I'm just going to speak that out into the universe.
You're going to get a what?
One of these days I'm going to get a universe.
You're going to get a whole universe?
Yeah, it's a gift. It's a gift.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? What are you talking about? I'm sorry. Dinner was squirrel. That's my ADHD.
Yeah. So, did you decide if you felt like cooking?
No, I think he said he's going to get, Emily came home with anytizers, but they're the barbecue honey ones, and I don't like those. So he's getting buffalo anytizers. And so I think that's what I'm going to do.
So we've got a question here about you clarifying Dan isn't actually Dan.
You know what? I'm not even going to talk about that.
I've argued this so many times till I'm blue in the face. I don't know what more I can say.
You know what? I don't know. So, no, I have not clarified anything. I'm not clarifying anything about Dan. To my understanding, he is the Dan that testified in Nick's appeal. If that's the wrong Dan, then by all means, why don't you send me some information and do some homework on it and send it to me? Otherwise, shut your mouth. Thank you. So, you're just asking, but you've never seen anything from anyone on here. So if you've never seen anything from anyone on here, then how did you know whether I clarified or didn't clarify or had the right Dan or the wrong Dan.
It's a bunch of the groups are saying that we have had the wrong.
Pop-Pop's on his way home. He'll be home in just a minute. Now I'm watching the baby, I guess. Oh, 50%! Woo!
Yay!
Okay, I gotta get off here I'm sorry. Everything in the world is falling apart right now. I've got a 3-year-old I'm gonna watch apparently, and my husband's trying to call me about dinner.
Are you doing, monkey?
Oh, here's the dinner. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for my poopy hearts. I appreciate it. Hi, look at him.
What's that? My name.
Okay, that's me. That's me.
Who's on there?
I don't, Sarah. Okay, well, whatever your name is, because I can't even figure out what your name is. I'm just gonna call you 10.
Shoot.
I don't know what you mean. I understand that you're asking genuinely. That's fine. But all I'm telling you is that the Dan that we posted is the Dan that we believe is the Dan.
Cloud?
Yes, that's a heart cloud. Yes, is the Dan that we believe was the one who testified at his appeal. If that's not right, then let me know. Other than that, we're not talking about that today. And I'm not on mute, I don't think. Can you guys not hear me?
We know. You got it.
I understand it. It's fine. She was speaking to the other person.
Sorry, the 3-year-old is here now, guys. Oh,
so anyway, guys, like I said, this case absolutely fascinated me because the entire thing is fascinating from beginning to end. And it's very, like I said, it's only 40 episodes. It's very quick. It's a very quick. And, like I said, it's just, I find it so fascinating, not just from, not just being true crime. I find it fascinating because social media.
I'm crying out loud. Rowdy is barking at you because you keep putting your hand over my mouth and he does not like it. So please stop doing so he'll stop barking, okay? Thank you. But Rowdy doesn't like when you guys do that. He does not like when people get me or hurt me or try to hurt me or get me, or he perceives that you're hurting me or getting me. He does not like it.
Leave my mom alone.
Well, no, the girls used to do this thing where they tap me and he'd go at them, So that's what he's doing basically to Wyatt. You're going to do the tickle monster?
Yeah, the tickle monster.
I'm sorry, guys. There is no way for me to freaking wrap this up properly or appropriately or professionally, apparently. My grandson has decided to take over. So we will have to table the rest of this for another time.
Little stinky man. Stinky man.
Okay, I'm going to go.
I just want to let everyone know what we have planned for the rest of the week.
You can try.
Okay, so tomorrow you will be doing more Daybell coverage.
Yes.
And then Friday, is that going to be our gyp dump?
Yes.
Okay. And then Saturday, guys, we've got the derby. We've got the derby on Saturday. Actually, races start tomorrow on Thursday, and then we have the Oaks on Friday. I don't think we'll be doing any coverage of the Oaks. Is that right?
I don't know, Sarah. I have to go. I can't do anymore. I can't hear you. I don't know what you're saying, and he's driving me nuts. I have to go now. I love you guys. We'll see you all later. So sorry that it was interrupted by the 3-year-old. Bye, guys. Have a good one from the Good Wives, serving up true crime one dish at a time. Oh, my Lord, young man. Hey. Nobody, we don't want to see you naked in a